Okay, so this is a perimeter and area problem that involves two distinct shapes, a rectangle and a triangle. Well, it looks like two triangles, but you can actually view it as one big triangle. And the first thing I like to do is just fill in the missing pieces of information. So for example, we can see those mathematical markings imply that the length of that line and the length of that line are the same, and it's told us that that line is 7. So I just go and fill in the missing piece of information. That must be 7. And if this side is 3 over here and these are right angles, it must mean that the other side is also 3. So I'll go fill in a 3 over there. And also, I suppose, that the top of this rectangle over here, it's told us that the bottom is 8, therefore the top of this rectangle and the bottom of this triangle also must be 8. And they haven't given us actual units here, so we can just, let's assume that they are centimeters. So the first question, A, is asking for the perimeter. So I'll always start off just by writing P equals P for perimeter. And even though this does take a bit of time, what I recommend you do is you pick a point on the shape. So for example, let's pick the bottom left-hand corner. And then you just imagine yourself actually walking right around the shape, and as you go, adding up the different components of the shape or the different sides until you get back to where you started, and then you will have the perimeter. So for example, here we start with the 3, moving up we have the 7, then we have another 7, then I'm going to have to go on to the next line, we have the 3 again, and the 8. So just to show you in terms of my movement, I added the 3, then the 7, then the 7, then the 3, and then the 8, and I'm back to where I started. The perimeter is always just the outside of the shape, so then I just add that up, and I'll have 28, and that's 28, and we'll just call it units because we don't know what the measurements are. So the perimeter of the shape is 28 units. Then we move on to the second part of the question. I'm just going to give myself a little bit more space to work with, and here we're going to try work out the area. So I'll just say A is equal to, and now with the area, I'm just going to change the color of my pen. Because we've got distinct shapes here, it's often good to work out the different shapes. So I'm going to actually label, for example, the rectangle A, and I'll label the triangle B. So I actually want to work out the area of the rectangle plus the area of the triangle separately. So area of a rectangle is really straightforward. It's just length times breadth, and there you can see it's 8 times 3. So A is actually relatively simple. Now B, you have to remember the formula for the area of a triangle. I'll just write it down at the bottom here. Area of a triangle is equal to half times the base of the triangle, which I just call B, times the perpendicular height. Now the perpendicular height, you can see, of this triangle, it's from the base of the triangle up to the top of the triangle, so we need to use that measurement there, and obviously the base measurement there. So I'm just going to write that in, probably just on the next line because I've run out of space. So B is just going to be a half times the base, which is 8, times the perpendicular height, which is 5. So quickly putting those two together, 8 times 3, so just the rectangle, 8 times 3 is going to be 24, and then a half times 8, half of 8 is just 4, 4 times 5 is 20, so we just got 20, and then we therefore have the area of this particular house looking shape, and it's going to be 44, and quite important here, we say units squared, because we're now talking about area. And there we're able to work out the area and perimeter of a irregular shape.